On March 4th, 2024, while training for the upcoming season, I was left paralyzed from the waist down. Welcome to Season 2 of Big Iron Moto TV, The Recovery. Well, it's been a while, but I'm back. I'm back making a video, and I thought that this would be the big comeback video, the big comeback video of me getting injured and then arriving at the Corduroy this weekend and getting on a bike, and who knows, maybe even doing better than I did in previous years. But sadly, the reality of the situation is not that, and the injury is far more severe than anything I've ever experienced before, anything I ever expected to experience, and anything I hope no one else who's watching this ever experienced. But it's nice to be out, it's nice to be driving. I'm on my way to see all my off-road friends and watch this race, this legendary race, and what better weekend than to have, I guess you could say, a comeback video of sorts, get back making some YouTube videos than the Corduroy Enduro. But a lot of you may be wondering what happened, and I'll start with the story, and then from there we'll get into the weekend and see where this weekend takes us. There's always good content, but let's go back to March of this year. So I had already been out quite a bit, probably 5 or 6 times, riding my KTM 350 XCF, testing it out, getting ready for the race season. And I had been out the previous weekend with my kids, and I'd rode quite a bit, and I got a call from a friend, Dimitri, Russian Roulette Racing. Make sure to watch his channel as well. And he said, let's go for Dunes. So, you know, I wasn't doing anything that day. I thought, why not? I could definitely use some time to myself and not, you know, having to watch the kids and making sure they're okay, the boys. So I loaded up my bike, spontaneous thing, and drove out to go for Dunes. We were doing some laps, feeling good. The track started off really clean, really nice. And there's, those who've been to go for Dunes, there's a big jump at the end. 70, 80, I don't know, maybe even 100 footer that you really have to hit well. And I was hitting it well, but over time, if you don't have a sand tire, you start to lose a lot of traction. And so on one of the later laps in the day, I tried to get over, landed a bit short. Unfortunately, I got bucked off the bike. And from there, I basically did a front flip and landed on my tailbone at 70 plus kilometers an hour, I'm estimating. And I broke my back. And I knew immediately when I landed that something was really bad, because I went to get up and I couldn't move anything below my body. I couldn't feel below my body. And I'm trying to get out of the way in fear that someone else might land on top of me. But thankfully, a bunch of people came and made sure that I was safe. There was an off-duty fireman, so he was there helping, and he made sure that I was okay, stabilized me, stabilized my neck. I started going through some preliminary first aid stuff, and I knew, because I had recently completed an advanced first aid course a few weeks prior, not to move, not to do anything. So I stabilized myself. I didn't do anything once I tried to get up. I knew right away, just don't move. After that, feeling my legs, nothing, couldn't feel anything. Ambulance was called, And by the time the ambulance arrived, I believed Air Orange was already in the air and coming to get me. I was on the helicopter.
You know where he's going?
Hamilton.
Hamilton, okay,
Yeah.
Hamilton.
Probably within 20-30 minutes of my crash, I was flown to Hamilton General, and they did some scans, found out right away that I'd broken my back, and it was a T12 L1 vertebrae, and that's when the whole system of surgery starts to kick in. All the cautions and waivers that, you know, sign here, you're going into surgery, you may not make it. I didn't feel too nervous about that, but I knew that it was really bad, and I had to make the most difficult phone call I've ever had to make in my life to my wife, saying, listen, I f***ed up, I broke my back. And my wife, obviously very concerned and in shock with it all. And yeah, so that was a really tough call. And then I went into surgery, and by the time I woke up, my wife and my mom were there. And the doctors told me that that's it. You're never going to walk again. You broke your back, and we had to fuse it with all sorts of titanium. So I've got massive amounts of hardware in my back now. And I guess you could add that to the hardware in my ankle. I'm probably more titanium than bone at this point in time. And that's where it started. The surgeon was great. His name was Dr. Pahuda. He did a great job fixing me up. But he was very direct with me, explained that that's it for walking, that's it for being upright, and you're going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of your life. And it's interesting when you have these sorts of injuries, because it really doesn't register for a while. You're kind of in shock, and especially with me, I've had so many injuries over the years that I just brushed it off like, yeah, it'll get better. I'm the person to beat this, and I'll be walking again within a month. And so confident, in fact, that I signed up for the Corduroy when it first came out in May. But anyway, I'll return to that. So a week or so in Hamilton General, in the ICU, what happens when you have a spinal cord injury is they have to raise your blood pressure to dangerously high levels to try and help the healing of the spinal cord, or the peripheral nerves around it, I should say, because the spinal cord can't heal. And that's the big question when the doctors are trying to figure this out. And that is, was the damage to the spinal cord, or is it to the peripheral nerves around it? And there's really not a lot of imaging that can be done to figure that out that I'm aware of. And so that's what they monitor over weeks, months, to try and figure out how much is coming back. And my diagnosis was, and still is complete, which means complete severance, meaning that I have no control below my legs. It's called an ASA L1. You can look that up on Google. It's an ASA, they call it ASA 1, L1 chance fracture. So yeah, that was me in March. So a week in ICU. The care there was fantastic. The people in ICU were just saints taking care of me. I felt really well taken care of there. But then what happens, of course, is once you're stable enough, you get moved to general. And as great of a job as everyone tries to do, resources are not the same as they are in the ICU. You have a lot of people dealing with pain management issues and dependencies. So it's a very loud, noisy atmosphere. I got transferred to a hospital closer to me in Newmarket. I got transferred to Southlake and continued on my stay there in the general ward. It was better, though. And while I was there, I tried to get on a list for a rehabilitation hospital called Linhurst. And eventually, I did get into Linhurst, and that was sometime in I want to say late April. Yeah, April 14th is when I got into Linhurst. And when I was taken there, I could not believe how great the care was. The people there were just phenomenal. And when you come into Linhurst with a spinal cord injury, you feel like you're royalty. You feel like you're, you know, the executive of the executives in the treatment that you receive. And I can't say too many good things about this particular hospital. They're just phenomenal at what they do. So when I got wheeled in, I met with my physiatrist, Dr. Burns. I met with the head doctor, I guess you could say the general doctor, Dr. Marshall. I met with a whole team, a nursing team. I met with a nutritionist. I met with a pharmacist, psychologist. This was all back to back. Like, you come in and it's all just continuously. So immediately you feel like they are treating this with the seriousness that's required to rehabilitate yourself. Met with an occupational therapist, then a physiotherapist, and that's where the work starts. So at Linhurst, you have to do a minimum of an hour of physio every day, and then on top of that, you can go to the gym that's there. They have specialized equipment that allows you to try and get sensation and nerve rehabilitation back. And I did that every day, and I treated it just like I was training for Romaniacs or Erzberg, and I just really tried to do everything my body would allow to get better. And now, here in September, 6 months later, I'm doing much, much better. My diagnosis has not changed. It's still a catastrophic injury. I'm still considered complete, ASA type 1, but I am able to ambulate with crutches. That's kind of sketchy, but crutches at times, and also with a walker. But mostly I'm in a wheelchair, but having the ability to transfer and move around with a walker and with crutches has been really liberating, but also just very powerful from psychological healing. And one thing I've learned in all of this, and this ties into being at Linhurst and the atmosphere around it, where you have this beautiful park you're overlooking that you can go out and play with the dogs. They have coffee there. The gym is quite nice. The mental health, I think, is 80% of everything else. It may be more, because without that mental wellness, to try and rehabilitate yourself through what are very challenging physical demands, but also mental demands, I just don't know how you could maximize your recovery any other way. So thankfully, Linhurst was like that. I was released in June, and I was released back to my home. Since then, I've been rowing a lot. I've been trying to get out as much as I can, but I can't ride a bicycle. I can't walk, obviously. I can get out on my chair. I take my dog for walks with my wife, and yeah, it's been nice to be home. But when you get out of hospital, it is very abrupt as to how difficult the world is being in a wheelchair. And it's almost harder that first couple of weeks when you get released, because as much as you want to be home and having your own food and your own bed and all these other nice things, you really realize that, like, you know, you can't just easily make yourself a sandwich or grab a glass off your shelf to get a drink, and all these little things. And especially for me, you know, what I really want to do is, you know, tinker with my dirt bikes. I want to do things with my boys, and that becomes hard, although I am learning more and more. So I think where what I've come to realize through this whole thing is you have to be very grateful for what you have, and I am extremely grateful. I'm grateful that the injury wasn't worse. I'm most grateful for my family and my friends for being supportive, and perhaps a super grateful above all is my wife and helping me through this, what she has done since my injury and how much she's helped me has just been beyond human expectations. She truly is a saint, and every moment she's there. And I can only imagine how difficult it is on her, but you don't hear her complain, and she makes all of this bearable for me. So it would be wrong for me to not mention that and talk about all the other things, because having that, really without that, I don't know where I'd be. So in any event, I am on the way to the Corduroy right now. I have an ATV to use, and I am going to try and get around and see some of the racing. I'm really looking forward to my son racing tomorrow. He's going to be racing in the youth enduro, and I'm going to get out and try and watch some of the race with all my friends, be at some of the test sections, and get lots of footage for you, and as always, try and make it into a great Corduroy video. So yeah, thanks for watching, and thanks for your patience while I hadn't released videos in so long. But yeah, it feels good to be back. It feels good to be talking to the camera. It feels good to be pulling a trailer with toys in the back. It feels good to be wearing my Red Bull Romaniac shirt, and I'm feeling really good about this weekend. So let's have fun. Corduroy 2024, 70th anniversary. This is going to be a good one. Well, it's no dirt bike, but it's still a red plate.
Still gave you the sticker.
This is the best participation medal I've ever got here.
We were just talking about the year your bike bag totally destroyed from Dreams. We were just like 5 minutes ago. Oh my god, it's unrideable.
Yeah, totally.
Pretty good.
Yeah, you ready to go?
I'm ready.
Ready? All right, good. I've got a whole team here getting the ATV all set. Let's start. All right. Buttons. 2-wheel drive. 4-wheel. I'll probably need 2-wheel.
Yeah.
Okay. And go.
I don't know. He's just going.
say hold up, cock my glizzy, bang, bang.
day 2 of the Corduroy, and regrettably I don't have a lot of good footage to provide. I do have some cool drone shots at the beginning and some other stuff like that, so I hope you enjoyed that. But interestingly, what this has become, the Corduroy for me, is seeing what I'm capable on the simplest of stuff. And what was, you know, like before you'd look at tests, got to do test 1, test 2. For me, those tests are hooking up a trailer, getting this ATV loaded, and doing things that are, in the past, have been so easy, and now they've become like a Corduroy test. So that being said, I did manage to hook this trailer up myself, which I'm really proud of, and I'm now going to try and load this ATV in the back by myself. And you know, people have told me not to be too stubborn about asking for help, and that's true, and I do get help from time to time, and I really appreciate that. My buddy Andrew, 2 Andrews just came by and were talking to me, and they helped me with some small stuff. But I was just telling them how important it is when you have this type of injury to feel like you're doing things yourself, and that may be hard for people to understand, because it may be so quick for someone to just, you know, put something in the back of the truck or hook up a trailer. Things that might take three minutes, for them will take me a half an hour. But part of the recovery process is not just physical. It's in fact, I'd say it's 90% mental, and that mental healing has to come with these small wins, the small tests of hooking up trailers, loading ATVs, and I think that stubbornness is also what makes dirt bikers so special, and it forces them to test their character and see what they're made of. And you can either give up and say, I can't do this, or you say, I am going to do this, and no matter what it takes. And whether you're stuck on a hill or your bike fails, we figure out a way to get through the test. Even if we don't win, we get through it. And the resolve of dirt bikers is definitely a special thing, and I'm very fortunate to have been part of that, because it's largely what's helping me through these things now, and refusing to, it's not about refusing help, it's refusing to resile, to accept that you are the state that the doctors say you are, and continuing on in a way that is going to put you back as close as you can be to maximizing your recovery. So yeah, it's a weird episode, isn't it? It's a weird episode because there's not a lot of footage. It's more of just me talking to you guys, and I wasn't even going to release a video, but after talking to many people at the Cord, to my surprise, it was really touching, because many people have told me how inspiring I've been to them in their own struggles, and watching me through my Instagram and continuing on. And you know, you don't realize these things when you post, that it may have effects on other people, and I'm hoping this video has the same thing, and hopefully you can see that no matter what obstacle you face, whether it's on a bike or off a bike, you have that special ability as a dirt biker to refuse to give up. You have that indomitable spirit, and yeah, you refuse to be conquered. So let's start up this dirt bike, and not dirt bike, machine. I refuse to call these things bikes, so I'm going to call it a machine. Start it up, get it loaded. We'll see how this goes. You can come along for the journey here. But before I do that, let's go for a quick rip and get some, at least the feeling of being in the Corduroy Enduro. I have to admit, no matter how down you're feeling or how rough you think things are going, having some being behind handlebars and feeling the wind in your face makes it all go away. See, this is the part where things get unnecessarily challenging. And I suppose if someone was here, I would ask for help, but right now I can't. And what's going on is, back that leg is over here. This guy, my son's bike is it's not far enough over, so I gotta move this over. But that's not an easy task in the circumstances. So, see what I can do here. The bike, ATV's in park, so I'm just gonna try and move this over a little bit. Give me enough room to get the machine over. It's gonna be a tight one, but we're gonna make it work. Make it work. All right. Okay. Let's see if we can get this thing in. I'm gonna hour out on putting this machine away. Honestly, I thought the hard part would be getting out of here. Maybe it is, I haven't figured that out yet, but getting this loaded, it's not easy. But I think I figured it out. It looks like it's in. I hope so. I hope so. Okay, now, how do I get out of this place? That is gonna be tricky. I've been doing my stretching. Didn't break anything, that's good. Did it. Well, mostly. Okay, got to the front. Now, got my crutches there. Okay, I've made it out of the corduroy escape room. Oh. Okay, here we go. Freedom! Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this weird episode with very little dirt biking, but me talking about my experience with my injury and how some of the tips I've learned to overcome it and escape the stigmatism associated with it.